I started my new job at the Dark Community Arts Centre. In this episode, I'll show you what my daily commute to work is like, what autumn looks like in the Hedge End area where my work is, and a few other things that I did before our trip back to Australia for Christmas. You won't see lots of different things in this episode, because starting my new job and getting used to the shift patterns meant that I didn't do much else or get around to much filming. What we did do with our free time during this month was plot to make a CD of our music by Christmas, which, as you will see in the next episode, we did manage.
The next station is Eastleigh. Change here for Chandler's Ford, Southampton Central, Bournemouth, Poole and Weymouth. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform edge.
So here's an average morning, setting off for an early shift, which means getting the 7:10 a.m. train. Depending on the time of year, it can be dark during this commute and or frosty. My commute takes a lot longer than necessary because Hedge End is often an angle from the Southampton line, meaning I have to change trains at Eastleigh and hang around there for a while on the way. When I arrive, I either walk or grab my bike and ride from the station to work. There's often lovely misty or frosty scenery, and recently, some really nice autumn colours. Hedge End is a small suburb, and thus only has hourly trains back to Eastleigh, so I often go for extra walks nearby while I wait. On the reverse end of the early morning trip is the late night return after late shift, which is always in the dark, often accompanied by floating fog that makes rings around the lights of the trains and street lamps. From these shifts I arrive home around 11:30 and sneak in for a late night snack before bed, trying not to wake sleeping Lloyd. It's a good time for creative thoughts and text chats with those in Australia who've just woken up.
Hey everybody, this is Hedge End. This is where I work. I don't normally get to come exploring like this, but today I missed my train, and unlike what normally happens, it's actually still light, so I decided to go exploring around in a local reserve. And this is some of the things I saw. Look at those leaves. Nice big phone tower there. It's very pretty otherwise. And here is the river. There are some very luscious blackberries here. I have eaten a few. Hopefully I don't get a tummy ache. Some really cool bright red rose hips here. And my camera is really not showing the colour of them right, but they really are a beautiful cherry kind of red. I wonder if I should pick some and try to make rose hip tea. Archway, walk through secret tunnel. It goes to the road though, so we won't go that way. We'll go back to the train station. And you can see where I catch the train every night from Hedge End. It's raining a bit, so I'm going to go under these trees where it's a bit more dry, and I'm going to read and maybe write some letters for a bit.
Around the world uncertain, seeking fortunes in the wind, learning how try wisdom pieces to take away. Now we could be someone new, wise or grown around my skin. Don't worry, we might be older than when I'm grown up. I had my last shift at work for the year on November the 30th. The next day I would set off on the almost 24-hour trip back to Australia with Lloyd for Christmas. The final episode of 345 Days in the Cold will not be about England, but rather about this return to Australia. Catch you then. On the particular day on which this story is set, Ashton was feeling a bit strange and excited, because it was her birthday. It wasn't a very good sort of day for a birthday. The sky was dreary, dark and Englandy, and it was cold. This is exactly what England looks like most of the time. Nice and green, with very threatening sky.